Hello, boys and girls. Today we are doing English, learning about dependent clauses. Okay, dependent clauses right here. Okay, and what we are, the page we're on is 285. Okay, and so to think back to dependent clauses, it might help to remember that we learned about independent clauses last time. Okay, so when we think about independent, you're all by yourself. We talked about this. We broke down the word, okay? So if you're dependent, okay, you depend. What's the right word there? You depend, okay? You depend on somebody, okay? You depend on your parents for things, and ultimately we depend on God for everything, okay? So if it's independent, though, you're not dependent on anything. You're by yourself, able to sustain. So, but we are looking at dependent clauses today, okay? So to remember that, an independent clause has a subject and a predicate. It expresses a complete thought, and it can stand alone in the sentence. Got it too big there. And it can stand alone in the sentence. So here's one. I am 10 years old, okay? That's an independent clause. Okay, what's the subject? I. Okay, and what's the predicate? Am 10 years old. Okay, next one, a dependent clause. Here's today's concept. Is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate, but it cannot stand alone as a sentence. So this is where it's kind of weird. Okay, it's got a subject, it's got a predicate, but it's still not a sentence. Okay, so a dependent clause does not express a complete thought. It does not, okay, and that's the key word there, not. It does not express a complete thought. A dependent clause is another type of fragment, okay, another type of fragment, okay? So, when I am 10 years old, okay, so here is the subject, I, simple subject, and what's the predicate? Okay, am 10 years old, that'd be the predicate. Okay, our dividing line would go there, okay? But when we have this, when I am 10 years old, well, when I am 10 years old, what? I get a special birthday. When I'm 10 years old, I am older this year than I was last year. When I am 10 years old, I'll get my first pocket knife. When I am 10 years old, I'll be able to put all my fingers up on both hands rather than just one hand, okay? I'll have all my fingers up. Okay? So it's not a complete sentence. So what do we do with that? A dependent clause begins with a joining word. Okay, it's a joining word. When, okay? Such as although, because, since, until, when, and where. So how do you fix it? Okay? Well, here's a couple other examples. Because Sarah is sick. Okay? So what's the subject? Sarah. What's the predicate? Is. Okay? So it's got a subject, it's got a predicate, but it's not an independent clause by itself because it doesn't make a complete thought. Okay, it's a fragment. Okay, until Sarah feels well. Period. Until Sarah feels well. What? Until Sarah feels well, she'll be needing extra sleep. Okay, so here's how you fix these. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, suddenly your dependent clauses are now independent clauses. I am 10 years old. You have a complete sentence. You have a complete thought. Okay? So let's go and let's look at the guided practice. Okay? And it tells us, okay, I'll erase all this stuff here. It tells us, write IC if the independent clause, if the clause is independent clause. Okay? Right, DC if the clause is dependent clause. Circle the joining word in each dependent clause. So if it's a dependent clause, we're going to need to circle the joining word. Okay. Number one, White Cliffs are near Cape Blanco Lighthouse. Okay. White Cliffs are near Cape Blanco Lighthouse. Okay. So when we think about that, does it have a subject? Woohoo! Or what is the sentence about? It does. Cliffs. Okay. Does it have a predicate? What the subject does or is. It doesn't do anything, so then we go to is. Am, is, are, R's right there, okay? So that's my predicate, my simple predicate. That's my messy writing for simple predicate, okay? So now just because it has a subject and predicate still doesn't make it an independent clause. We got to see, is it or does it make a complete sentence? White cliffs are near Cape Blanco Lighthouse. Yes, that is a complete sentence. Independent clause. Okay? So now we go to the next one, number 2. Because the lighthouse is located, I'm going to actually raise this up right here. Okay, now that we know the directions. I see. Okay. Number 2. Because the lighthouse is located in Oregon. Okay? So does it have a subject? Yep, lighthouse. Does it have a predicate? Yep, is. How do we figure that out? We asked, who or what is the sentence about? Okay? And it was lighthouse. Then we asked what the lighthouse does or is. What the subject, we know the subject is lighthouse. What the lighthouse does or is. Okay? Does it do anything? No, it doesn't. So then we go to the is words. Is, there it is. Is. Boom. Okay? So now we got to, okay, so it's got a subject, it's got a predicate. Is it an independent clause? Independent means by itself, it's good. Is it a complete thought? Because the lighthouse is located in Oregon. Because the lighthouse is located in Oregon, what? Because the lighthouse is located in Oregon, we'll be able to visit it on our trip to Oregon? That would be a complete thought. It'd be really kind of a run-on sentence, but this is not good. Okay, this is a dependent clause, okay? And we're supposed to circle the joining words, okay? And so some of you are thinking, I can just look for joining words. But what's a joining word? I don't have a song memorized for those. So then we still got to go back and think. Some of you will know some of the joining words. And you can use that, okay? It's like Mr. Mondale said, we shouldn't start with sentences with because or and or but, okay? Because it sort of sits itself in a dependent clause oftentimes, okay? So where the Oregon coastline is ragged. Where the Oregon coastline is ragged, what? It doesn't really make a complete thought. Right away, okay, I know that's a dependent clause because it doesn't make sense. There's not a complete thought there. Where the Oregon coastline is ragged, you need to be careful, okay? Or you could just cross off where the Oregon coastline is ragged, okay? All right, the next one. It is the tallest lighthouse in Oregon. It is the tallest lighthouse in Oregon. That sounds okay. Check for a subject. It. Okay, so check for a predicate. Is. And it all flows and it all makes sense. It doesn't missing any phrases to make the clause make sense, so it is good. Independent clause. Okay. Number 5, James Langlios was the keeper for 42 years. Okay, so does it have a subject? Yep. James, right? Does it have a predicate? What the subject does or is? Yeah, it does. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so we say, well, am, is, or was, is word, was. Okay, simple predicate. And now what? Okay, it's got both. Does it make sense on its own? James Langlios was the keeper for 42 years. That's a tongue twister. Yes, it does. Okay, independent clause. And check this out. Look at that. You guys remember those, I bet. Okay. Here's another one. By the keeper. Okay. Is there any more? In Oregon. Okay. In Oregon. Okay. Those are all things we've been learning recently. Fun facts. Okay. Prepositional phrases. Okay. And then the object of the preposition, Oregon. Oregon. For 42 years. Okay. By the what? Keeper. Those would be objects of the prepositions. That's just a little review. That's free. I'm not going to charge you for that. Okay. Number 6. When the war started. Okay. Well, right away. When the war started. When the war started what? When the war started. That's a dependent clause. Doesn't even make sense. So we say, when is the joining word that's throwing that off. Okay. Number 7. The lighthouse is popular. The lighthouse is popular. Yeah, that makes sense. It's got a subject. Yeah, lighthouse. And a predicate? Yes, it does. It's got the is. Okay? So that's a independent clause. Why is it independent? Because independent means by itself it's good. You can function by yourself. Number 8, because visitors were given a tour by the keeper. Because visitors were given a tour by the keeper. Because visitors were given a tour by the keeper, they now knew a lot about the lighthouse. Because visitors were given a tour by the lightkeeper, they felt more knowledgeable. Okay, that would complete the sentence, but it's not a complete sentence because right now it doesn't finish its thought. So because needs to get out of there, and we got a dependent clause. Okay, that is the information that you guys have there. I know some of you were wondering, but Mr. Mondale, it's English. And English is joke time. Yes, it is. And let me tell you, I've got a good couple of jokes for you. And here they are. Okay, here they are. Okay, oh, that light is killing me. Got 2 flies are on the porch. Which one is the actor? Which one's the actor? They're on the porch. That's right. It's the one. On the screen. It's the one on the screen. Get it? He's on the porch on the screen. He's the actor because he's the one on the screen. I love it. It's so funny. That's actually a good one. All right. What do you get when you cross an elephant and a fish? An elephant and a fish. In the water and an elephant. What does an elephant have? A trunk. And what do you do in the water? Swim trunks. You got it. All right. Where does the penguin keep his money? I bet you've heard this one before. This is not a new one. Penguin. It's cold. There's snow. In a snowbank. In a snowbank. Last one. Males or boys? Why do male deer need braces? Why do male deer need braces? What are male deer called? Bucks. Because they had buck teeth. But hopefully that male deer doesn't live during the time of COVID because then he couldn't go get his braces put on. Okay? Anyways, those are our jokes today. Hope you enjoyed them. Have a good time doing your work on dependent clauses. And remember, you depend on God for everything. Okay? So depend on Him today, kids.